Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and it's more Umber. Yeah, I have quite a backlog of Umber, to be honest, and geez, this week I got like no painting done. It was just one of those weeks. I got I have to get some work together for a gallery, and I got other things coming up. Whatever, it's all good. Oh, and I did a ton of board prep for this upcoming show. I wanted to bit inspired by doing the texture demonstration, which is for this project I'm working on. There's a good one on the channel, especially if you're live. I think it's available even if you're not. Pardon me. A little hay fever, although it's not spring here, it's fall. Anyway, Umber River. Very interesting little composition here, and it's based on a pictorialist photo. If you don't know what pictorialism is, it was a movement in photography, say turn of the last century, where the photographers were basically, a lot of them were painters and artists, were taking a very pictorial and painterly approach to photography, and so usually things are a bit diffused. A lot of pardon me. A lot of pictorialist photos are have great compositions, I must say. So, in that sense, it's really pretty fun to do paintings because they're a bit like pre-digested. They already look like paintings, and they're nicely composed. And yeah, not every old photo qualifies as a pictorialist photo, but quite a few of them kind of hit the brief, yeah. The colors I'm using on this, I gotta go by memory, so sorry. Wow. Good question. It'll come to me, I'll bring it up. In fact, I'm sure I'll flash the palette in a moment, and we'll go from there. I will be reading, picking up where we left off. I don't know if it was the last video, probably. Um, we've been reading the conclusion of Edgar Payne's composition of outdoor painting. You might go, well, why are you reading the conclusion to this? Well, it's an essay where he basically sums up art and learning art brilliantly. And if you're a beginning painter, definitely stay tuned for that, because he's intelligently addressing the real issues with moving from that beginner state into higher levels of proficiency and professionalism. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably be getting to that definitely before the 6-minute mark, since I don't. Well, I have other things to say. I have been working on this project ongoing. I've been working on the parts that are dedicated to composition and stuff. And composition really, this is from his book Composition of Outdoor Painting, and it's a book I've looked at a lot. I can't say though that the problem with books on composition and with rules of composition, in fact, the chunk I'm going to read to you really addresses this. You can give somebody a few formulas for compositions, and they can create some paintings from these formulas, and they'll be able to stand. These paintings will be able to stand up because they have good compositions. But you get them out of nature, or give them a pile of photographs and say, make me a painting. Maybe they're lucky and they can apply the old Steelyard, to one of these compositions in the photographic pile. But otherwise, when translating what you see in front of you in the form of a photo, or being outdoors painting en plein air, you're gonna need to take. Oh, let's see what colors. Oh, it looks like I'm just using raw umber here. Yeah, raw umber, Mars black, and lead white would be my guess. It has that feeling to it. Yeah. Anyway, it's Umber. Well, that's what we really want to know. Well, what color's using? Well, it's Umber. You know, you can see from that kind of grade quality that it's. I'm pretty sure it's just straight up raw umber. And I believe I did this little painting before I got into the um, that new one I've been using, which is the brown ochre, which has raw umber like attributes. Yeah. And that, of course, now if I was the live video, I would be calling it out. So sorry for that, folks. I had just actually, you know, I do remember things, but yeah, I do a lot of paintings. I probably did like almost 20 of these umber studies. So, and I felt like maybe too many of them were, you know, on the channel. Although I love them, I could probably do a whole year worth of umber. To be honest, it's just fun and relaxing and rewarding. Anyway, let's get into this book. Now, I'll just briefly summarize. So, what he was talking about in the previous bit I was reading was how, you know, you're a beginning student, you really like the praise of your buddies and your mom, you know. You get a few ideas under your belt, and you start thinking you got it figured out. And so pride cometh before the fall, so to speak. And sadly, some people actually have success without attaining mastery. That's one of the sad things that the modern art brain disease has brought into the art world. You know, very sad because sometimes these people could have developed into quite good artists. You know, but they had some success with their left hand, whatever. I'm not going to go off on my modern art diatribe. But they had some success, and so they just went with it, you know, instead of going for mastery. And the fact of the matter is, like, um, who cares about a bunch of fame and success if the work, monetary success, if the work you're creating isn't at a high level? And by that I mean an actual real high level, not, you know, a bunch of people are telling you it's great, or you know, because you have connections and some rich person picked up on what you did. You know, it's selling, whatever. If you're not making great work, if you're not proceeding and progressing as an artist, that stuff doesn't matter at all. You know, frankly, if you have enough money to live fairly comfortably, you know, you've got a laptop and a phone, and you're not getting rained on, and you're eating regular, and you can afford paint, you're better off just learning how to be a better painter. Yeah. Anyway, that's from me. Let's pick up. I'm sorry for the sniffs. I had a big sneeze and I'm feeling a little stuffed up. Oh yeah. So since the approach to art is through a roundabout path, page 130, by the way. No doubt its first study is always confusing. To make the matter more difficult, the beginner generally cherishes praise from friends who, as a rule, know nothing whatever of art or its requirements. Early attempts at pictorialization usually develop a certain ego or pride, so this is a bit I summed up. Changing the viewpoint under such circumstances is one of the most difficult of problems for both the student and his advisors. We covered that before too. Here begins an equally difficult problem. This is what I was trying to get into. That of developing and expanding this naturalness, your natural aesthetic vision, you know, that thing in you that resonates with art and prompts you to say, I want to do art, I want to make something beautiful, right? That's your natural artistic impetus. So let's see what he has to say about it. We're on page 131. Developing and expanding this naturalness into artistic expression, the matter of getting the beginner to use suggestions for training and disciplining himself or herself, gotta be, you know, rather than using them as rules for building pictures, is one of the problems that is yet unsolved. And this is so true. People want to know what paint you use. People want to know what boards you're painting on. People want to know what brushes you use. People want to know what that particular style of composition might be called. You know, it's like, and they're hungry for rules because they need them. You know, they need to know what the rules are. But that's always a challenge because you could know these things, but you really need to know them and also move past them. But let's see what old Edgar has to say. Curiously enough, in contradiction to the above statements, many take up art late in life merely as a hobby and do very credible work. Businessmen in various parts of the country have formed clubs for the study and practice of art, and the quality which the members often produce is surprisingly good. The study and practice of art is much like the study and practice of anything else. Any subject should be reduced to its simplest elements first. Then the lesser contributing factors should be studied and analyzed. Like gathering the materials to build a house, the factors in art are gathered from many sources. Yet it should be understood that while influences and principles in art are derived from different sources, they are brought together for one purpose only, to form an artistic unity in the finished picture. Putting the matter... Well, good. Let's do it, Edgar. He's going to put the matter of studying art, training briefly. This is written, you know, in the 50s or 60s. 50s, I'm thinking. 40s or 50s. Maybe 30s. Jeez. And we like things briefer as moderns, don't we? We just get to the meat. Putting matter of studying and training briefly, talent or natural ability must first exist. All information, suggestions, and other forms of instruction are intended to preserve naturalness and expression and at the same time create a quality that will fulfill all requirements of aesthetic enjoyment. So you got that, right? And you know, I used to be into comics when I was much younger, and I was doing art and I was into inking, and of course I knew a bunch of artists in my area that were, you know, into drawing and inking. And there was one guy, I won't say his name because I believe, I don't know him real well, but I believe he went on to work in the game industry. Which is called him N for short. He had this style that was so evocative and moody and really cool. And his drawing maybe wasn't totally perfect, but he had all these cool shadows on things and a really unique approach. It would have been, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, N went to art school, and when he came out, and he didn't go to some, you know, modern art kind of art school. He went to some other type, but he was doing the most pedestrian, just meat and potatoes comic book art you ever saw. And it's like, not, I wouldn't call it disposable, but I would say that that special spark he had, that special thing that was in his work that was so cool was completely absent and had been replaced with just plain vanilla. Everything was drawn quite well and correctly. He had good perspective drawing, and he had good features on his characters and decent anatomy and all that, but the spark was gone. He had lost it at some point when going to art school. And this is one reason I didn't go to art school, and I don't really think most of you need to go to art school. I mean, the fact of the matter is, look at what you want, and start developing it, you know, into that through dint of hard work. Because you think art school is going to save you time, but it may be a corrupting influence. It may, like in this case, just making Edgar's point, restating his point. In the case of N, that natural sort of awesome art that he was doing had just been completely destroyed through the training. So, and a lot of people are aware of that. Oh, there's Jerry. Hey, Jerry. For more Jerry, check out the live video in the members area. And this is actually, this video in the member is a pretty cool one because it's only just a little over an hour. So, anyway, you get the point. Oh, and here's a little bit of glazing. Yay. This one had kind of a blanchy quality, so I really wanted to get a little more whatever in there. And I'm hitting it on the bottom with a slightly different tone. Yeah, but basically there I'm glazing with It looks like transparent earth to me. And it looks like I added a little bit of probably transparent earth yellow. It looks like I added some transparent earth red. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you're having a nice day, and until I come back with another video, do me a favor, take good care and stay out of trouble.